Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing some of my favorite stretches and dynamic mobility for the hips, the adductors, and the glutes. So all you're going to need today is your body and a mat. This one's pretty simple. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get down there. So this one, I'm going to have you start by placing your hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. From there, I'm going to have you send one of your legs out nice and long. Toes come to the floor, they point ahead. So find your foot to the ground. And from there, act like your hips are headlights. You're going to think about facing your hip bones straight towards the front of the room. You might already start to feel a big stretch in the inner leg here, in the hamstring, and even in your calf. And then from there, you're going to think about sending your butt back behind you. Hands stay still. That's going to increase that stretch here. And we're just going to rock in and out of this position. Somewhere around 10 to 20 times, breathing really big inhales and really big exhales into wherever you feel this tension. You can also hang out for a couple seconds in this back position. It might also feel good to lift the toes. Sometimes that's a little bit more of a deeper stretch. So find what feels best for you today. If you're doing this before your workout as something you're using to prime your body, I would say move actively. And if you're using this as more of a cool down, you can definitely pause and hold. Good. So I'm just moving nice and slow, and I'm lifting the toes if you like that version, if that works well in your body. Some other things you can start to experiment with while you're here are the position of this leg and this hip. So this one, toes can be pointing back behind me. That's just going to get some flexion into this hip as this leg is an abduction out towards your side. But you can also work into some different ranges of motion. So if I bend my knee in towards my body, I'm getting some external rotation within this hip. I can feel a completely different sensation when I send my hips back. So now I'll start to feel a little bit stretch in this hip and a little bit of a stretch in this inner leg. So you can play around with that depending on what you need today. That might feel a little bit better in your body or be something that your body's asking for. Just kind of play around, and we can do that same thing the other way. So we can find some internal rotation by bringing that foot out towards the side. I'm going to bring that knee a little bit more underneath me, and for that one, I can't even go back as far. You might or may not be able to too, because that definitely feels very tight here in parts of my outer leg and parts of my calf. Good, so with whatever variation you choose here, you can do all of them, you can do one. I would probably pick one or two and do around 10 to 20 reps of each so we can get the most out of this stretch here today. Awesome, good. And then we're gonna go ahead and step that leg in. You're gonna repeat that whole process on the other side. Leg out, foot down, toes ahead, square your hips like headlights, send your weight back. And again, arms stay still underneath your shoulders. We're not walking back here because that creates a little bit less of a stretch. Good. Once you've been doing these for a while and you're ready for the next variation, the next one I have my clients do is we actually do start to sit back towards your feet. From there, this sole of the foot is going to be on the ground, hips square ahead, and we can start using our hands or no hands to push up all the way into some active hip abduction. And again, we're sending our butt back to sit down, kind of like we just did on that stretch. And then you're driving into your feet, lifting your hips forward to come out of that. This is definitely not beginner friendly. This is advanced. We're working some hip strength. So 10 to 20 reps though, with all the mobility exercises, you should be able to do 10 to 20, couple sets with rests in between fairly easily before moving on to the next version. And again, while keeping the body calm, being able to breathe is key. Awesome. So once we've done those, we're going to work into this next one. This one is a modified pigeon variation, and you can feel parts of your butt, your glutes that you normally don't feel. So for this one, we're going to stay in that position that you just had, and then I want you to bend one of your knees in the air, hover it off the ground, and then you're going to cross it behind your leg on a diagonal. The more diagonal here, the more stretch is going to be created in this opposite hip, so I'd probably start with a little less. And then from there, you're going to think about sending your weight back towards your hips. Walk out with your hands, relax through your head and your neck. If this is something that feels really tight, this is where having a pillow here, a block, a bolster to hold on to might be really nice. And then again, allow yourself to settle into this position. Really big inhale, breathe into where you feel this. This is where all my clients point to their butt. And big exhale, let it go. Literally every time. 2 more big breaths, guys. We're going for 5 to 10. Allowing your head and neck to be heavy. Good, and then last one. Good, and again, we're going to repeat that all on the other side. Bend the knee, cross it behind, send your hips back on a diagonal. Walk out through your arms. Big breaths into that area of tension here. Going to be in the glute, in the side of the glute. Good, last one. Beautiful, and then we're going to come back forward. Awesome. And then since we did a little bit of active mobility for that other one, we're going to do a little bit of active mobility for this stretch. Awesome. And if that last stretch, that cross-leg glute stretch, was feeling pretty good, we're going to do some active mobility for that range of motion, just like we did for that last one. So you're going to come on down to your side. Legs are going to start nice and long. And then I'm going to cross my foot in front of me. The more tight I pull it in, the harder this exercise is going to be. And we can be up on that forearm, or you can be all the way laying down on your side here. So find what feels best. So we're going to think shoulder back here. This foot's going to come to the floor, closer towards that foot, a little less intense, so closer in, a little bit more intense. Try to point your toes a little bit ahead. They don't have to be facing straight ahead. They can have a little rotation out towards the side. And then you're going to flex your foot, your bottom foot here. Other hand can come here. And we're going to think about lifting that bottom leg. As you lift, I'm squeezing my thighs in towards each other, and I'm pushing this foot into the ground. This is going to feel like a crazy sensation through your inner legs. I feel it up that non-working leg here while it's working, but of the non-moving leg. And again, you're going to do somewhere between 10 to 20 reps. This is for the adductors. We're getting some hip adduction, which the first one was abduction, so it's the opposite movement. So this is going to help if you struggle with hip tightness and not sure where that comes from, or even low back tightness, pelvic tightness. This one can help a lot. These both can. And again, we'll do somewhere between 10 to 20 reps over here, or laying down, squeezing the legs in towards each other, flexing that foot. Awesome. Same thing on the other side. I'll just show it real quick. Leg in front, drive the foot down, flex, and then begin to lift. Lift and lower. You might notice that one side is a little bit easier. It definitely is for me. So you are perfectly normal if you notice anything like that. Awesome. Thank you for watching. These are some of my favorite hip stretches that you can pretty much do any day before or after your workout, combined with some active mobility that's going to strengthen the range of motion you just stretched into. Save for later and subscribe for more. Happy moving!